Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm 36, and last month, my daughter almost died while my mother demanded cupcakes. I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean Lily was in a hospital bed, 8 years old, hooked up to a ventilator, her lips blue, her tiny chest rising and falling with machine assistance, and my phone buzzed with a text from my mother saying, "Bring dessert for your sister's gender reveal. Don't be useless." I stared at that message like it had been written in another language. I replied, "I'm at the hospital." Her response came immediately. "Priorities, Daniel. Show up or stay out of our lives." So I blocked her. Simple as that. No hesitation. My thumb tapped. Block contact. And I stared at my phone like it had personally betrayed me for waiting so long. The next morning, Lily stirred. Her fingers twitched weakly, and her eyes fluttered open behind the ventilator tubes. I leaned close, holding her hand, whispering how much I loved her, how I'd never leave her side. She looked me dead in the eyes and said croaky, barely audible, "Dad, Grandma came here last night." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "She said you love work more than me. She said I should be happy for Aunt Vanessa because real grandkids are coming soon." I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just sat there while my daughter, recovering from pneumonia that nearly ended her life, repeated the words my mother had whispered in the dark ICU room. It wasn't the first time I'd realized my family saw me as background support. The emergency fund with legs. The invisible man with a credit card and no emotions. But that moment? That was the crack. The real one. Not just the surface fractures. That was the one that went straight down the middle and split something open. And what came next? They never saw it coming. I didn't go nuclear that morning. Not right away. I sat by Lily's bed for hours. Quiet. Still. Processing. I watched her sleep, her chest finally rising on its own, not with the help of machines. I listened to the rhythmic beep of the monitors, and I thought about how many times I had chosen them over her. How many birthdays I'd missed staying late to cover extra hours. How many holidays I'd spent wiring money instead of wrapping presents. And for what? So my mother could sneak into a restricted ICU and tell my daughter she wasn't important? Rebecca, my ex, sat beside me. She'd flown in from Denver the minute I called her. We hadn't spoken much since the divorce, but there was a quiet understanding now. The old arguments didn't matter anymore. Not when your kid is in a hospital bed. Not when your former in-laws are delivering psychological warfare to a ventilated 8-year-old. "You block them?" she asked, sipping hospital coffee with a look of disgust. "Yes," I said. She nodded once, calm. "Good." That night, after Lily was stable, I pulled out my phone and made a list. It was longer than I thought. Vanessa's mortgage. Property taxes. Car insurance, Mom and Dad's, not mine. Vanessa and Caleb's cell plan. Private school tuition for her 2 kids. Netflix. Hulu. Disney Plus. All on my card. Utilities for Dad's workshop. A credit card that I didn't even use, but they did. Regularly. 9 years of quietly bleeding money into a family that treated me like I was a utility company with a heart. So I shut it all down. By midnight, I had canceled 8 services, removed myself as a co-signer, and emailed customer service reps to disable autopay. When I finally closed the laptop, Rebecca was watching me from across the room. "Feel good?" "No." "Feel done?" "Yes." She didn't say anything else. Just patted my shoulder and turned off the light. The next morning, the phone started buzzing. Vanessa first. Then Mom. Then Dad. Then Caleb, of all people, texting me like we were buddies. I didn't answer. I just sat with Lily. Read her a book. Watched her breathe. And when my phone finally rang with a number I didn't recognize, I picked up. "Danielle, what the hell did you do?" Vanessa snapped. "The mortgage company called. You're getting removed as a co-signer? Our property taxes bounced. Are you trying to ruin us?" I didn't raise my voice. I didn't get angry. I just said, "I'm at the hospital with my daughter." "What do you need?" She said it like it was obvious. "We need you to fix this." And that's when I knew. They didn't see me as family. They saw me as infrastructure. Vanessa's voice was climbing. "You don't get to pull the plug on everything just because you're in a bad mood. This affects all of us." I stared at Lily, her small fingers curled around mine. Her chest rising steadily now, no tubes, no alarms, just a child who had fought to breathe while the people I called family had fought over dessert. Lily almost died, I said evenly. While she was unconscious, Mom snuck into her ICU room and told her she didn't matter. And now you're calling me because your mortgage bounced. She what? Vanessa's voice caught. Ask hospital security, I said. They have her on camera. There was a pause on the line. Not denial. Just recalibration. Then, okay, look. Maybe Mom said something she shouldn't have. You know how she gets. But this is extreme. You're punishing all of us. I rubbed my temple. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just done. That night, I made a spreadsheet. 9 years. Over 200 transactions. Categories. Subtotals. Color-coded columns. I stared at the final total for a long time. $231,000. That's what it cost to be the dependable one. I didn't send it. Not yet. The next 7 days, I stayed silent. Let the dominoes fall. And fall they did. Day 1, the mortgage company hit Vanessa with a default notice. Day 2, Dad's car insurance lapsed. The DMV suspended his registration. Day 3, the family cell plan got cut. Phones offline. Vanessa texted me from Caleb's burner. Day 4, the private school emailed about the revoked tuition assistance. Full payment due in 30 days. Day 5, Caleb tried to refi the house. Denied. His credit was garbage. Day 6, Dad's workshop utilities were shut off. He lost power mid-project. Day 7, 43 missed calls. 5 voicemails. 1 knock at my apartment door. I opened it to find Dad standing there in a windbreaker and a look of defeat. I didn't invite him in. Daniel, he said. Dad? We need to talk. We're talking. He shifted awkwardly, glancing past me like maybe Lily or Rebecca would appear and take his side. Your mother's been trying to reach you. She's sorry about what she said. I leaned against the doorframe. She meant it. You all did. Things got out of hand, he said. We've all been under a lot of pressure. Vanessa's pregnancy. Caleb's business. Your mom's been managing everything. And I've been paying for everything. I replied. You think I don't know what pressure is? I've worked 70-hour weeks in a one-bedroom apartment with a leaky ceiling just to cover your bills. We didn't ask you to, he said. I laughed. Really? You never asked? Do you want me to send you the spreadsheet? He blinked. You kept track? Oh yeah. Every dollar. $231,000. Want to see the breakdown? He looked at me like I'd kicked a puppy. So what now? You cut us off? Just like that? No, Dad. You cut yourselves off. I just stopped pretending it wasn't happening. He sighed. You don't mean this. I do, I said. And if you ever try to get near Lily again, I'll make sure you never get past the front desk. I closed the door. Locked it. Behind me, Lily was asleep on the couch with a book on her chest. Rebecca had flown back home. The apartment was quiet. Peaceful. Vanessa lost the house 3 weeks later. Dad picked up a part-time job at a hardware store. Mom stopped texting completely. Vanessa's kids moved to public school. And me? I made pancakes every Saturday with Lily. And never once missed a breath. It didn't happen overnight. But it happened fast. The collapse, I mean. For years I had been the scaffolding that held their lives upright, quiet, dependable, invisible. Now, without me, the facade cracked like cheap drywall. Vanessa's Facebook went dark. No more vacation selfies, no more humble brag posts about hardworking family values. Just a black and white ultrasound photo posted 3 weeks prior, still captioned, "Blessed." The comments had dried up. My mother deleted me from every platform. My father tried emailing me. Once. I blocked him there too. The world had shifted, tilted, reset itself around me in a way I hadn't realized was possible. And in the middle of it all was Lily. She recovered slowly. Her energy returned like a tide, quiet at first, then in full waves. I bought her sketchbooks and markers and puzzles and a little bonsai tree that she named Steve. We went to the park and sat under trees, eating soft pretzels and watching other kids on the jungle gym. She never asked about Grandma. Or Vanessa. Or anyone. She just lived. And I followed her lead. One Sunday morning, I got a call from Rebecca. "How's she doing?" she asked. "She's building a cardboard castle for Steve." "The bonsai tree," I said deadpan. Rebecca laughed. Of course she is. Then her tone changed. Your mother left me a voicemail. I froze. What did she say? That I had poisoned you. That you'd always been a good son until I came back and stirred up resentment. She said you were sick and needed help. She also mentioned you'd left the family to chase some divorced fairy tale with your broken kid. I didn't respond for a full 10 seconds. I'm sorry, I finally said. She's unbelievable. No, Daniel, Rebecca said. She's sick. Like genuinely, emotionally sick. And you've been enabling it for years. I know. No, you don't, she said. You think cutting off the money fixed it. But she got to Lily. In the worst moment of her life, your mother made sure she felt unloved. That's not just dysfunctional. That's targeted cruelty. I was silent again. Rebecca's voice softened. Have you considered therapy? For you. For Lily too? I didn't answer, but I didn't scoff either. That night, I opened the spreadsheet again. The $231,000 was still there. Untouched. Unearned. It stared at me like a billboard I couldn't look away from. I drafted the email. To Mom, Dad, Vanessa. Subject: Financial documentation and closure. Attached is a complete record of the financial support I provided since 2014. This document is for transparency only, not negotiation. Asterisk effective immediately, all financial connections are severed. I am not open to discussion, repayment, or guilt. Consider this a permanent closure. Do not contact me or my daughter again. Daniel asterisk. I attached the PDF. Finger hovered over the send button again. And again, I didn't send it. They didn't deserve the closure. They already knew. They were living it. Instead, I did something better. I opened a new savings account. Put $500 into it. Named it Lily's Peace Fund. Every month, I'd add to it. Not for college. Not for medical bills. Not for emergencies. Just for her peace. So she would never have to pick between her breath and someone else's comfort. 2 weeks later, a certified letter arrived at my apartment. I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly. I didn't open it. Just tossed it in the trash, still sealed. I imagined the inside, some twisted cocktail of guilt, denial, and victimhood wrapped in cursive script and Bible verses. No thanks. A few days after that, Vanessa texted from a new number. Mom's not doing well. You should call her. She cries all the time. Also, Caleb's job fell through. We might get evicted. Just thought you'd want to know. I read it twice. Then I deleted it. Lily came into the room holding Steve the bonsai tree like it was a baby. Dad, Steve wants pizza. I smiled. Then Steve's getting pizza. We walked down the block, hand in hand, into the late afternoon light. I didn't bring my phone. I didn't need it. It was the first time in years I hadn't felt the phantom buzz of obligation in my pocket. I didn't even realize until halfway through our meal, Lily with a slice twice the size of her face, sauce on her chin, laughing about something she saw out the window, that I hadn't thought about my family once that entire day. And it felt like freedom. 3 months after the ICU, Lily and I had a rhythm. Quiet mornings. Long breakfasts. Walks to the park. School drop-offs with a lunchbox packed so precisely it could have been sponsored by Tetris. The house was peaceful. Still. Like it had been exorcised. No more missed calls. No more texts demanding wires or loans that were really losses. No more guilt bomb messages signed with "Love, Mom." That felt more like IOUs than affection. Then came the letter from the lawyer. Typed, formal, thick envelope. Return address, some strip mall law office I didn't recognize. At first, I thought maybe Caleb had done something stupid and tried to sue me out of desperation. But no. It was worse. My parents were filing a claim to recoup damages from financial abandonment. I actually laughed when I read it. Laughed so hard I dropped the envelope on the kitchen floor and had to sit down. Lily peeked in from the hallway. Dad? I'm good, baby, I said, holding my ribs. Just, your grandparents finally lost their minds. The letter accused me of dereliction of agreed family obligations. It cited past precedents of financial support that established reliance, and claimed my withdrawal of aid had caused measurable and deliberate harm. They attached documentation. My own. The spreadsheet. The one I had never sent. They somehow had it. Rebecca. It had to be. I'd shared it with her once during those early nights after the hospital when I still needed someone to say, "Yeah, you're not crazy. This is abuse." She must have forwarded it. I didn't blame her. She probably thought it would help me finally cut ties legally. But they weren't using it for that. They were suing me. For stopping. I called the law office, asked calmly if this was a prank. The receptionist said no, but she sounded embarrassed. "It's unusual," she admitted. "But the clients were adamant. They believe you were acting in bad faith." I hung up. I didn't respond to the suit. Just forwarded it to my own lawyer, a guy named Ron I'd known since college. Quiet, smart, smelled like chalk. Ron read through everything, then called me that evening. "You're fine," he said. "It'll get thrown out. There's no contract, no written agreement, no basis. Just a lot of passive-aggressive whining dressed up like legal language." "Still," I said, "it's insane, right?" "Not insane," he said. "Desperate." He paused. "Then, you pulled their scaffolding out from under them. Now they're trying to sue the ground for not catching them." I laughed again, this time without much humor. Ron was right. They were flailing. They were drowning. And they were trying to use the last tool they had left, guilt sharpened into litigation. But I didn't feel guilty. Not even a little. I felt tired. And I felt done. 2 weeks later, the claim was dismissed with prejudice. My parents would have had to pay for further filings. They didn't. Vanessa tried one more Hail Mary. She showed up at Lily's school. Lily told me about it that night at dinner. Calmly. Like she was reporting on the weather. She was standing by the gate. "And Vanessa?" She asked if I missed Grandma. I told her no. I set my fork down. "Did she say anything else?" "She said you were being selfish. That she misses you." Lily paused, then added, "She was crying." I nodded slowly. "Did she try to touch you?" "Nope." I said I had to go to aftercare and walked away. I smiled. "Good job." She took a bite of her pasta. "Can we go to the zoo tomorrow?" "Yes, baby," I said. "We absolutely can." I reported the incident to the school. They flagged Vanessa's name on the visitor list. I changed Lily's emergency contacts. Made it clear that my daughter was not to be approached by anyone not on the approved list, especially not people who thought cupcakes were more important than ventilators. That night, I sat on the balcony with a beer and watched the city flicker like it was exhaling. I had been dragged through 9 years of financial servitude, gaslit into thinking family meant obligation, told love looked like sacrifice measured in invoice totals. Now, it looked like freedom. Like silence. Like waking up and not bracing for a crisis that didn't belong to me. And I was just getting started. The next time I saw my mother, it wasn't by choice. It was the grocery store. Tuesday afternoon. Lily and I were in the bakery section debating between cinnamon rolls and blueberry muffins when I turned around, and there she was. Same hairstyle. Same too bright lipstick. Same expression she used to wear when I handed her an emergency rent check like it was a bouquet of flowers. She looked thinner. More tired. Maybe it was the lighting. Or maybe 3 months of actual consequences had done what guilt never could. She froze. So did I. Lily didn't. She picked up the cinnamon rolls and said, "These." My mom opened her mouth to speak, and I cut her off with a single word. "No." Her hand twitched on the cart handle. "Daniel, I just want to." "No," I said again, quieter this time. Lily looked between us, then back at me. "Can we go home now?" "Yeah, baby," I said, handing her the rolls. "Let's go." As we walked away, I felt my mother's stare burning into my back. I didn't care. I didn't owe her a scene. I didn't owe her a meltdown. She didn't deserve my anger. She didn't deserve anything. That night, I told Rebecca what happened. She listened, then said, "Did she try to follow you?" "No." "Good," she said. "That means she knows. She just hasn't figured out how to live with it yet." Later that week, a letter arrived. No return address this time. But I knew the handwriting. Inside was a single photo. Me at 16. Prom night. Standing awkwardly in a suit I hated, with Vanessa smiling next to me. She had her arm around my neck like she was strangling me. I was holding the car keys. On the back, in my mother's cursive, "You used to be such a good brother." That was it. No apology. No accountability. Just a memory used as a knife. I didn't show Lily. I didn't tell Rebecca. I just threw it away. 2 days later, I got an email from the private school. Vanessa had applied for a scholarship for her kids, and listed me as a reference. I replied formally, "To whom it may concern. I am not affiliated with the applicants, and do not consent to being listed as a reference. Best, Daniel Carter." They thanked me for the clarification. An hour later, Vanessa texted again from yet another new number. "Seriously? You couldn't just help them with one thing?" They missed their school. They missed their friends. "But I guess as long as Lily gets her perfect little life now, you don't care who else you hurt." I blocked the number. Later that night, I sat on the couch with Lily watching Finding Nemo. She had her head on my chest, her breathing slow and steady. Her hand was wrapped around 2 of my fingers like she thought I'd disappear if she let go. Halfway through the movie, she whispered, "Dad?" "Yeah, sweetheart? Do I have to see them again? Ever?" I paused. "No. You don't." She was quiet for a few seconds. Then she said, "Good." It was the same thing she'd said that day in the hospital. The same flat tone. The same tired finality in an 8-year-old voice that shouldn't have to sound like that. She didn't ask why. Or what would happen. Or if they were sorry. She just trusted me. That night, I opened a second savings account. I named it the No Fund. It wasn't for vacations or toys or big future plans. It was for one thing. To make sure that no matter what happened, I would never again be in a position where I had to say yes to something that would cost Lily her peace, her safety, her dignity. My new favorite word was no. And I was getting really, really good at using it. Lily turned 9 last week. We didn't throw a party. Not because she didn't want one, but because she asked for something different this year. She wanted a just us day. Pancakes, a movie, a visit to the botanical gardens where she could sketch the koi pond, and cinnamon rolls with extra frosting. That was it. That was the list. No bounce houses. No cousins. No camera-ready family chaos. Just peace. So that's what we did. I woke her up with a stack of pancakes shaped like animals, badly, I'll admit. A giraffe that looked like a scared squirrel. A dog that might have been a llama. She laughed so hard she snorted syrup out of her nose and said, "You're not good at this, Dad." I said, "Nope," and made another one anyway. That sound, her laugh, still feels like the purest thing in the world. Like forgiveness wrapped in joy. We walked the garden slowly. Lily brought her little notebook and stopped every few feet to draw something. A bird, a flower, an old man feeding ducks, a teenage couple holding hands like it was a lifeline. We didn't speak much, and we didn't have to. It's easy to be silent when the silence is safe. I got a call that afternoon. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I checked it later, it was my mother. Her voice was strained, like she was trying not to cry or scream. I couldn't tell which. She said, "I heard it was Lily's birthday. I hope she's well. I'm praying for her. I hope one day you'll find your way back to us." I deleted it. No anger. No second thoughts. Later that night I told Lily, "When you're older there are things I'll explain. Not now. Not yet. But just know this, being related to someone doesn't mean they're safe. Doesn't mean they're kind. And you never have to keep people in your life just because you share a last name." She looked up from her coloring book and said, "I know. Just that. No fanfare. No dramatic music. Just a child who already understood more about boundaries than most adults I know. A child who had breathed through machines while others weaponized love around her. A child who deserved better, and finally had it. I don't know what kind of woman Lily will grow up to be. Artist, scientist, world traveler, zookeeper, whatever. But I do know this. She will know what peace feels like. She will never feel owned by obligation. She will never believe love requires silence or sacrifice at her expense. And she will never sit in a hospital bed, tubes in her throat, wondering if she's been replaced. Because I'll be there. Not perfect. Not flawless. But present. I'll be the person who shows up. Not out of guilt, not out of duty. Out of choice. Out of love. Every time. Not for them. For her. Always for her.